This is Caroline Bereznak's 20 Latin Fun Facts project on Roman funerals. Fun Facts 1 to 5. The wealthier the people, the flashier the funeral. Professional mourners were hired for the wealthy deceased. They were paid to grieve and wail at funerals. Imagines were decorative funeral masks worn by the mourners. A bier was a bed-like tray that the deceased would be carried on. It was similar to a modern-day casket. The deceased could either be buried or cremated. Fun fact 6 to 10. For cremation, the deceased would be carried to a necropolis and burned on a pyre. Until the body was properly buried or cremated, the dead was considered alive and not having crossed the river Styx. Cremation was the most popular form of caring for the dead. In Roman Egypt, an incredible lifelike painting was placed at the head of the bier. The paintings were so precise that they resembled actual modern-day photographs. Fun facts 11 to 15. The level of technical competency for the paintings would not have been completed for another 600 to 700 years. Some had eulogies at their funerals. A feast always took place after a funeral. The Romans set apart certain days of the year to mourn their dead. These days were called the Parentalia. Fun facts 16 through 20. An emperor was buried inside of the city. It was believed that emperors did not become spirits, rather, they became gods when they died. It was believed that the spirit of the deceased would cross the river Styx, the river to the afterlife, and become a shade or a spirit. Someone who had been buried was never buried with their possessions in their tombs. Without a proper burial or cremation, it was believed that the spirit would be malicious and haunt his or her family. This is a depiction of a Roman funeral that was carved into stone. This is another depiction of a Roman funeral procession that was carved into marble. This is a picture of an imagine, or funeral mask, that a mourner would wear. This is a picture of a body being burned on a funeral pyre. This is an artist's rendition of a body crossing the river Styx and becoming a shade. This is a picture of Julius Caesar. He was believed to have become a god after he died. This is a Roman Egyptian funeral painting that was placed at the head of the bier. Notice how it resembles a modern-day photograph. This is another carving of a funeral procession. Notice that the body is laying on a bier, and notice the mourners standing around the deceased. This is a picture of Roman clay jugs. Here are the vocabulary words. An imagine was an ancestral mask worn by mourners. A bier was a bed-like tray that was like a modern-day casket. A necropolis is the city of the dead. A sarcophagus is an ancient casket also used by the Egyptians. The Parentalia were days for mourning the dead. The Optimus Princeps was the highest prince or emperor. Trajan's column is where the Optimus Princeps' ashes are buried. A shade is a spirit. Moritura means about to die. The river Styx, the river that the deceased would cross to reach the afterlife. Some questions. Why was it so important to have a Roman funeral or cremation? Why were professional mourners used? What happened to an emperor after he died? What was so amazing about Roman Egyptian funeral paintings? Which social class got the flashiest funeral? Bibliography. Bibliography.